Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Curbside Network. I am your host, Jay Kirby, joined tonight by a man of many, many talents and many, many professions, Dr. Braxton Cosby. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, Braxton.
No, appreciate you having me on, Jay. This is great.
Absolutely. Lots to talk about with you this evening. We'll get into that, but of course, as always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube. Tap that little bell so you never miss an upload. Follow us on our Twitch. We're posting all kinds of stuff and our Spotify. Uh, Huge announcement just confirmed. This interview is going to go out just a few days after, but we'll be at DreamHack this coming weekend at in Dallas, Texas, and then next month, June 13th through the 15th, we will be in Atlanta, Georgia, at Ranger Stop and Pop. That was just confirmed only a few days ago. We're so excited to be at one of the biggest Power Ranger conventions in the country. We are so excited to be part of that. Uh, and we hope to see you there as well. It is going to be an amazing time. For those of you who haven't gotten your tickets, go to their Instagram, go to their website, and get those before they run out. But as always, quick shout out to our sponsors. Starting off, of course, Raise Energy, available at repsports.com. It's only the middle of the week here for us, but it's been a long day. Sometimes you need that little pickup, you need a little bit of boost. So why not get one of the best energy drinks out there? Raise Energy, available at repsports.com. I prefer one of my preferences is their pre-workout, their Broken Arrow. It is just the right amount of kick with not too much crash. So use the promo code Kirbside8 at checkout for that. And while you're sitting at your computer, listening to an interview, or you're on your way to and fro from the gym, you need a snack. So once you stop at jerky.pro, they have an excellent selection of jerkies and meats for you to chow down on. They have a multitude of flavors, a multiple different kinds of meats. So go ahead and check them out. Once again, that is jerky.pro. Use a promo code Curbside8 at checkout to get you a special little discount from them. Shout out to our partners, Collected Comics and Games in the Dallas Fort Worth area. They are having some amazing sales. They have everything that a nerd needs. A lot of my collection behind me, as you can see, has come from Collected. They've got books, they've got minis, they've got dice, they've got comic books. Right now, I'm in the middle of the DC Absolute runs. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Martian Manhunter. They're all fantastic. Highly suggest you guys go in and support them. And of course, our dice sponsors, because we're running a new game here for the tabletop side of Curbside, and we cannot show enough love for ST Way Gaming, our dice sponsors. They have everything our gaming needs. Dice, they've got accessories. Go check them out. They are wonderful. Much love to Jason and his family. And with that, we'll get right into it. Braxton, thank you for joining me here this evening. Like I said a little bit before we got into the interview, you're which caught me off guard when I was doing my research for this interview. You are a doctor of sports science. You are an actor, a producer, comic book writer, a writer, a comic book production company. You have all your hands in all the cookie jars. So, man of many talents and a man of many, many hobbies. I can respect it. Braxton, thank you for joining me this evening.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, and you know, the juggling match is always on 1000, being a physical therapist, doctor of physical therapy, working all day with that. I tell people that's my day job. My night job is I become a madman who just loves to tell good stories, produce good stories, publish good stories, and write good stories, hopefully, and just share them with the world. And that's pretty much what my passion has become. I started off writing novels for a long time, and then I got into some intensive with screenplays. Ended up writing about four of those. I did a small um, uh, indie film for somebody. I was contracted to do that, and then I got into comic books. So our publishing company, we're a small press publisher, Cosby Media Productions. We've been around since 2014. We published over 30 authors with 60 different titles in ebooks, audiobooks, and paperback formats. We do conventions. We have our books in the schools down here in the Atlanta area. So, students can read up on our stories that we wrote. And I've also crossed over with comic books, like I said earlier, with Star Child Comics. So that's our comic book imprint of our small press company. And our saying is basically come play in our worlds because we have worlds that we have created. Me and the authors who are in our stable, a very, very talented crew. Love working with them. We have fantasy, we have science fiction, we have hard science fiction, we have high fantasy, we have middle grade fiction, we have let me see, superhero fiction, of course, is one of our big ones. We have dystopian fiction, and we have young adults. So all the fiction is right there. We also have stories with inspirational stories based in just testimonials of some somewhat famous people, but also just some spiritual stuff that helps to encourage people as well. And we also have poetry from some talented folks as well. So I feel like if people come to our website, Cosmedia Productions, they can find something that they will be interested in. And I feel like those stories are really going to give people a opportunity to kind of nestle into what we have done collectively and just kind of jump around and say, hey, I feel like reading this now. Oh, they've got that too. And they can just play because if you are an avid reader, I feel like we have something that you will love. We've won a lot of awards as a publisher. A lot of our authors are decorated with awards and recognition as well. I've won multiple awards for my writing. I've written over 20 novels, working on my 21st now, and still just continue to push the envelope of all these ideas in my head to get them out to some of the fans that we've built over the years, going to conventions and doing local book signings and things like that. So I've just been blessed with the talent of being able to multitask, really. And it's been a skill that I've been honing over and over again. And I just love to tell stories. So I'm just glad that people do read them and they do enjoy them and they are looking for us when we come back to the conventions year after year.
Wow. I mean, you, like I said, you really do have your hands in all the cookie jars. I need to step my game up, is what it is. I'm, I, I, I do the Clark Kent job, the 9 to 5. I run the
hmm
podcast.
hmm
Uh, one of the players on the D&D stream. And then we've got like a bunch of things behind the scenes that we work on. So I'm constantly working on ideas for that. And then for people who follow the channel, I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you about this, Braxton. I'm also a pro wrestler, and
Oh,
so
okay, okay.
I've seen the sports side of it as well. So
Very
I'm
cool.
constantly, and then of course we're going to conventions. We're doing media for conventions.
Absolutely.
We are everywhere. So I feel like I need to step my game up. God.
I think you got enough on your plate. I don't recommend this to anybody because it's just crazy. So yeah.
So I gotta ask, I always ask this question, just where did you get your start? We don't gotta go all the way back
hmm
to day one, but like how did you go from I mean clearly college educated.
Right,
You got the little DR before your name. You
right,
you don't
right.
just get that in a cereal box. Um,
Absolutely.
so you start off in college working towards this sports science degree, and then you just expand into this giant world of uh creativity. Where
Right.
did you get your start in all this?
Oh man, I tell you, some things are just like you're just born to do. I feel like that was me. Um, my big thing was that in school, elementary, middle, high, and college, I hated multiple choice tests. I always second guess myself. I feel like, hey, was that the right answer? That's too easy. And I would go back and change them and I would get decent grades. But any class that I had that was essay format where I could actually sit down and explain the information that I knew, like I could express myself, I got A's in. It didn't matter. It could be world history. It could be whatever. I was acing it, especially the sciences. So I've always had a love for science. And so that was something that was just in me. I get an essay-based class, I was like ready. Yes, I know I'm gonna do it, you know. And so after getting out of school, out of college, started my career and working. It was honestly, I was at my origin story is I was at church one day and the pastor was preaching. He said, I feel like God's got some people out in the pews who he wants to use to do some stuff, but nobody's really asking. And it might be something very random and different from what you've been normally doing and what you identify with in your day-to-day life. And I was like, well, all right. So I kind of went with it and I prayed, and all of a sudden I heard this voice say, write a book. What would you have me do, God? Write a book. Okay, that's a little random. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, what would I write him? Right? What would I write? Where would I get this story from? And for me, I'm a big movie buff. I really love movies and film. And I don't know about you, Jay, but sometimes I would see a movie and the movie would be good and you'd be like, man, I kind of wish they went this way with it. That would have been really cool, but they didn't, and that was cool. And then I see another movie. So I had all these ideas. And I kind of heard this voice say, take all those cool ideas you had and put them into your own story. So that's what I did. And I started like kind of fleshing out the script for this young adult sci-fi series called The Star-Crossed Saga right there in church, and took it home and started doing research on how do you actually get published. And I just went to work, like just figuring out how to write and researched and started taking classes. And I got some really great editors who challenged me in the stories that I was writing. And before you know it, 2011, I got published by a small publisher here in Atlanta, and that was it. And I haven't looked back. She eventually didn't do any more publishing, so I got the rights back and decided, like, hey, you know what? I think I can do this myself. So we opened up Cosby Media Productions, got that rolling. And like I said, we've got all these authors in our stable who, we're really we feel like we're a partner with authors. We don't try to just take all the royalties and give them just, you know, subpar covers and formatting and editing. We try to do what we call the industry standard. And I've been committed to doing that. I take authors' feedback. Hey, what do you want your cover to look like? And then they would give it to me, and I work with the artist to really bring something together. My talent really lies in just the creativity. I have a great eye for art. I love art. I love creating. I love building. I'm definitely not as talented as the artists who we have in our stable by any means, but I can sketch something out. So I just kind of visualize something like, man, it'd be really cool if we went with this. And I would bounce it back to the authors, and then our artists would bring it to life, and it would just be amazing. So we try to give them the best opportunity to be a winner with the book that they have. We want them to fall in love with it as much as the readers will, because they'll actually go out and market it. And
Mhm.
so that's what we've done. That's what we've stayed committed to, and it's worked for us so far. And I've just been excited for it. So I'm hoping that people just continue to come and see what we've got coming out next. We have just jumped into manga now, so we'll be releasing our first manga novel and comic next week from a very talented author, Chris McCauley. Actually, it will be the 27th of May. So that's going to be exciting. So we're just continuing to just branch out and do and tell stories that we think people agree that are very cool.
Oh no, I 100% right there with you. I am not. I myself, I believe that I'm a very creative person. I always have
Hmm.
ideas and
Hmm.
stories that want to be told, but I am not the greatest artist.
Right,
I'm
right.
I'm not great at sketching, but connection from this person, or I know this person, and I always try to really connect, especially when it comes to our show.
Hmm.
We I have an artist that uh they're trying to make it big, so I give them our D&D art, and I was like, here's our characters, draw them up, use them as your
Hmm.
portfolio, use
Hmm.
them to build you, and then we'll be out here marketing for you, being like, look at all
Absolutely.
this artwork that this person did for us. So I'm right there with you, as that trying to build that standard, but also really connecting and really building like a huge team out of this.
Yeah.
um I too, if you can't tell by my room behind me, I am a giant nerd. i
Uh-huh.
I am also a huge movie buff. What's I've heard an interview or two of yours. What's one of your, well, let's say, what are your top three like go-to movies that like really inspired you to get into production?
Oh man. If I give you a top three, Avatar, I love Avatar. Um, that would be one. Of course, I'm inspired by the Star Wars stuff, even if it's not just necessarily the movies per se. The world that Lucas built is amazing. It's very inspirational. Obviously, you can't love science fiction without, I think, uh, taking some page from that element of how you tell these stories, build these worlds, get people to like and connect with these characters. And then when it comes down to, because I obviously write superhero fiction too, but I'm more of a DC fan than Marvel.
Mm,
So my
nice,
stuff,
nice.
I grew up with the Justice League on TV back in the day and the Super
Yes.
Friends and all that. So that's where I draw from those characters. Batman is my favorite. DC and Wolverine is my favorite Marvel. So those are the
Nice.
guys that I kind of pull from with my storytelling.
Oh, that's amazing. Hey, big Star Wars guy here. A lot
Yes,
of people
yes.
on the channel know I'm a big Star Wars guy.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I love Andor. I love what they did with it.
I'm watch I have to start it. I have just gotten caught up on all the things Marvel. So
Okay.
I finally
Okay.
just finished Daredevil. I'm gonna
Yes.
start getting caught up on Andor, but I think that's the only series from Star Wars I haven't seen.
Okay.
Got to go see episode 3 when it got re-released for the 20-year
Mm,
anniversary, which made me
mm.
feel super old because I was a kid when it came
Right.
out.
Exactly.
And then we are, because we're on this sci-fi kick, we are right now we're building another D&D stream for our channel, which
Hmm.
is it's called, I don't know how much D&D you play, but it is
I play
called
it.
oh, my man.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry, those questions will come back. But we're planning a Spelljammer game,
Okay.
and so there's about 7 8 of us in the chat right now, and we're building these crazy characters from all these different worlds and just coming up with this really broad universe that we really want to live in. So
Wow.
very much seen as far as, because I noticed the similarities there, the Star Wars, the Avatar, the DC.
Uh-huh.
You're trying to build these big sprawling universes, and
Yeah.
it's ambitious is what it is, and
Yes, it is.
I truly respect that.
Thank you. And I tell people all the time, like it's like I get it because I meet a lot of creators, right? And they're like, "Well, I just got this one book. I got this one story. You've got like five different stories. I've got the Broken series. I've got the superhero series. With the Cape. I've got Steel Rain. All of this stuff is under the Star-Crossed Saga, like umbrella. Like Star Wars is like this, and then under it, you've got all the, you've got the stuff that they did with Obi-Wan, and then they've got the other, Rogue One. So they've got all these things under the Star Wars umbrella, and that's what we did. I did with Star-Crossed Sagas under the galaxy that it's a real galaxy, one-to-one galaxy. Proxima Centauri is where I kind of have my characters move through. And I got the Bounty Hunter series with Still Rain. I've got the stuff that happened with William and Sydney and Star-Crossed Saga, and now I'm building that out to be another universe that's taking place as well. So, and then we've got that going across comics. So it's something that I don't even consider it difficult because I just fell in love with those characters and those stories so much, and um, I'm really excited about the stories that I'm telling. So it doesn't feel like work. It just feel like, oh, I can't wait to get back into it again. Dive in and I add another element. And so, um, like I don't know what I would have been doing with just one world because I just can't do that. My mind goes to another story and I want to tell another one. And I'm like, ooh, I got to get back to that again. So I'm excited because right now I'm working on the sequel to Still Rain right now. The first book, like we're a hybrid publisher, Jay, so we kind of do this thing with we tell our stories in both novels and comics,
Hmm.
but the comics aren't side stories, are actually continuations of the stories we're telling. So like for example, like Broken book one is like here. So this is
Oh.
like Broken, right? And this is book
Hmm.
one of the Young Hellion series. Book two is the actual comic book,
Okay.
24-page comic.
Yeah.
And then book three is the 60-page graphic novel. So we're like we will take you if somebody wants to really play in that world, we're going to take you on a journey from the novel, then you get the images in the graphic novel, I mean in the comic book, and then you get the graphic novel, which is more storytelling in a comic book format, you know. And so I've stayed dedicated with that because I've realized like how much of a wider net we cast now with people who are readers, because some people just want to read comics, some people just want to read novels. And when you approach them, you know, at a convention or something like that, and they realize that you've got this other way you're telling the stories, they're like, "Oh wow, okay, let me try that," and they get the whole thing, and they really get excited about it. So it's writing comic books becomes more like you become more like a filmmaker than you are a novelist anymore because you've got to set up all the angles and the shots and how the panels are going to be. Are they going to be just floating? Are they going to kind of be imposed into the background? Are they going to have certain angles? And it just becomes this amazing like love fest of creativity because you get to be a little bit of everybody. And so when I finally get the graphic novel put together for Broken, I was just like blown away, like, oh my God, this is like exactly what I wanted to do, with these pages. And so the artist who I worked with on Broken, I want to give shout out to Ram Silva and Julio Caballero. Julio is our colorist who is amazing, does the letters and the colors, and Ram did the artwork. So he is wonderful. And like Still Rain, like I said, it's comic book is the first one, which is Pre-Flight. Then I have the novel, which is the award-winning novel. That one is the second book, and that is the Flight of the Starship Concorde. And book three we are working on now is the next comic in that series, which is going to kind of be the bookend. And I'm not releasing that story or cover yet. Cover's done. Still working on the pages now with a new artist who I'm kind of giving a shot to. So um, that's the other thing that I do pride ourselves on is that we're working with so many artists to give them a platform to get their work out and to say, hey, take a chance on me. And we work with them and we kind of help build them up and challenge them to give us some what we feel are fantastic comics.
No, that's amazing. I've only seen personally how do you want to put this? Bless you. I
No.
have only seen only a handful of properties kind of take a similar approach where like
Hmm.
we'll call it the main story
Right.
is a show, but and I can't remember the name of the show. I want to say it was like it was a couple years back. I want to say it was called Allegiant. And so like there was the show and
Right.
then there was an online game,
Yeah.
like a video game, and like all of the things that happened in the game would show up like in episodes later.
Sci-fi. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that show. It was good. That was a good
And
game too.
yeah. And then, you've got people who are watching the show and then like, okay, well now I got to go get the game so I can
Hmm.
understand these little side adventures that are eventually wrapping around back into the show. And
Right.
then, almost kind of with the Marvel approach where, you've got the movie and then you've got a show that like bridges the gap until the next movie. And
Absolutely.
then, uh, the tie-in comic or a tie-in book, and then another show or another movie. So
Hmm.
that's a really interesting way to go about it. I really like the way you're approaching that.
Thank you.
Um, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Broken, about the story, the
Right.
characters in it.
Right. Yeah, this is Kisa. Kisa is the star, the protagonist of Broken. Broken is a dystopian young adult fiction book. Although I feel like young adult has really taken this type of a of a movement. It's no longer this anymore. It's like jagged. And I say that because people slap a title of young adult onto novels that are probably not young adult. Like I love Red Rising, but it's not a young adult novel. It's just not. It is a very cool, hard sci-fi novel that he said was young adult. And I'm like, where's the young adult? This guy's not even young. But yeah, so I came up with this story, years 2035, all out nuclear war happens one day. It's an event called the Big Drop. Basically, everybody bombs everybody across the planet. 70% of every living creature dies, and that what survives migrates to the coastlines for fresh water. Um, Money no longer has any value, obviously. So this one conglomerate called the establishment actually steps into play and decides that they are going to use a class-based system to enslave people once again. And it doesn't matter race, creed, color, gender, whatever. If you don't have, you are going to be on the side of the have-nots, and they enslave people and they use them as currency. They trade people for currency amongst themselves in these districts where they have these leaders called magistrates, and basically they just and judges, and they decide on how people are going to live going forward. Now, the establishment has taken over, but in that we also have a few factions that are now created because of it. Um, 90% of the population who ingest the ashes from the fallout, the nuclear fallout, take on property, they become zombies. And we call them ashers, but they move more like a hive mind. They're not the slow kind, they're
Mhm.
not the stupid ones. They are methodical in how they move. Also, some people who ingest the ashes just get a little crazy, kind of like the Mad Max characters. They're called
Mhm.
hoarders. They just ravage the land for resources and destroy and kill anybody in their path. But 1% of the population actually has super powers of clairvoyance that are unlocked, where they can get visions of the future and see things, even psychics in some sense, and they're called alphas. And as you go through the first book of Broken, you start to get a sense that Kisa may be one of these alphas. But the bottom line is that Kisa is in a slave pod with her younger brother Kieran. They've been separated from their parents, and now Kisa has become a surrogate parent to her younger brother Kieran, and she has to try to be determined that she is going to survive this. And she's hearing rumblings of a resistance movement outside of the slave pod down in Savannah, Georgia, and she's thinking that she's going to make that move and try to find them and leave and get out and try to start her life over with. And that's where we kind of have the whole story with Broken, with all these great characters. We build that world out really, really well. We kind of talk about the structure of the establishment and really hone that out. And we even dive a little deeper into the hoarders. And then once we get into book two, which ends off on a cliffhanger, we jump right into book book two, which takes place right after the end of the events that happened in book one, where now we pick up with Kisa. And going into comics is one of these things where it's like I can write all day and you can probably visualize what I'm saying,
Mhm.
but once you get to comics, you can actually put it into play and you can actually really give people the visualization or the I would say the manifestation of what was in my head for these characters and these opportunities to have zombies. And when you get a zombie comic, man, you got to give people zombies. So we really give a chance to give some great action with the zombies in the second book, which is the comic book. And by the time we get into the third one, which is the graphic novel, just came out earlier this year, really, really proud of it because Kisa, she does battle with mental health issues, which is a really important thing to me that I wanted to touch on with young people and understanding where they are in this world right now, in this place that they are, probably very confused. And Kisa went through a lot of trauma, being separated from your family, being a 16-year-old girl, still now losing your teenagehood and trying to be cast into this role as a parent. It was a lot for her. So I really dive back into that in here, along with growing that world, giving new characters, new antagonists, as well as some new allies, and also just continuing to move Kisa through her story arc. So um, that's Broken in a nutshell. Already working on the next iteration, which is going to be a novella to kind of take us to the next phase of that story.
Very interesting. No, I a sucker for a good post-apocalyptic story.
Absolutely.
Loves me some Fallout, loves me some
Yes,
Mad Max. So
absolutely.
definitely I actually love me some Walking Dead too. So definitely a
Hmm.
sucker for a good post-apocalyptic, a good zombie story.
Yep,
And it seems like you've got a lot going on, so it's not just a zombie story,
absolutely.
which good on you for branching that creativity.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely hitting a topic that I myself am very um I I don't know if I'm any kind of expert, but I definitely try to support, I definitely try to spread whatever word I can, but big advocate for mental health awareness
Hmm.
on the show.
Absolutely.
Um not only myself dealing with plenty of anxiety
Hmm.
and ADHD throughout my life,
Hmm.
but a lot of my players, a lot of my co-hosts slash creative directors are right there in the same kind of vein. So we very much try to give as much support, as much
Yeah,
platform as we can to anyone trying to pass a message like that along.
absolutely. Well, thank you. And I just think it's just important. I think everybody's so afraid of being vulnerable and talking about things that they're struggling with. So I think that's the biggest wall with mental health. Now, I don't have any mental health problem. Well, what have you been through? You start kind of peeling back the onion and people going through things, even if they haven't gone through anything big, it's like you say, it's the anxiety, it's the hopelessness, it's the what ifs. And our society, we don't talk about it enough anymore. So I don't think people ever have a chance to express themselves and they feel lost, So I really had to pay respects to man, if I was a 16-year-old girl and all this stuff was happening, and I'm losing my senior year in high school and prom and all those things are taken away, that's got to do something to you. So that was the whole idea about broken. Like things are broken, people are broken. The time that we're dealing with in this story is broken, and how do we pick up the pieces and move forward?
No, I definitely think the title and the theme work together just perfectly. No, I know that for me personally, well, we started Curbside during COVID.
Mm.
Um, so it was really funny is I tore my ACL
Ooh.
in I tore it December of 2019. I
Okay.
had surgery February 2020. So I went from 30 days of laid up at home, not being able to go anywhere or do anything to 9 months, almost a year of not being able to go anywhere or do anything.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that very much that wow, I'm stuck at home, that stir
Yeah,
crazy,
man.
the separation from
Yeah,
everyone
absolutely.
was definitely rough, but doing our D&D show Dice Hard, doing this podcast really helped get through all of that. So I can't imagine what some of the characters that you're using here are going to deal with. Okay, the world was one way and now it's a completely
Right,
different.
right.
uh some people losing their status, some people even losing their freedom, just
Hmm.
in having to deal with all of that while also, you know, hey, I'm still a 16-year-old kid, but I also have to be the hero, which
Yeah,
is a lot to put on someone. So that's an interesting story that I'd love to get my hands on.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Course. Now, I know you mentioned a little bit earlier you guys are dropping a manga soon.
Hmm.
What is this this first venture into manga for you guys?
Yeah, so I served as executive producer on this project because Chris Macaulay is very talented. He's worked on a lot of projects. The Stokerverse, if you're familiar with Bram Stoker, he's worked on that. They have like a board game and some comics and things like that. He's also worked with the some of the Babylon 5. They just
Oh,
did a
nice.
Kickstarter for the comic book, so he wrote some of the scripting on that. And he said he just wanted to create his own universe for sci-fi, and he brought it to me, and I was like, man, this is great. And it's called Nexus Astrum. What he's doing is we're parallel dropping a comic and a novel that are 30 years apart.
Mm, okay.
So the novel is the beginning of Nexus Astrum, and so it's a manga story, big giant robots, where they're first starting to get the technology started. So the robots are a little bit more clumsy, almost imagine like a BattleTech kind of
Mm,
robot in those senses. And then when he moves forward in 30 years, things have advanced. So now he's got more like the Gundam type
nice,
robots,
nice.
So it's really, really cool. So the way we had to produce the comic was like, hey, this is Nexus Ashram. This is the new world 30 years forward. I kind of put like a little forward in the beginning to kind of bring people up to speed on where we are. So you've almost got this origin story that's being told through these series of novels in the beginning. And then now you got the comic book, which is like moving forward with brand new characters 30 years later. after the insurgents and things are done in the first book. So I think people who just are into that are going to love it. The artwork was done by a creative team of Leo Rodriguez and his team of creatives. They're on our website. If you guys want to check out any of these fantastic artists, we would love for you to just give them work to do as well. Um, and um, and contract them to do any of your projects because they're just fabulous folks to work with. But yeah, so Leo's team also did the cover for the first book, the novel as well. So we kind of tried to keep the same color palettes and schemes so that there's no difference other than just reading that manga story that is just the novel. So
Very nice. No, that sounds very exciting. I mean, once again, big sci-fi guy, so that's a sucker for a good kaiju slash mech fight.
oh yeah,
So
oh yeah,
uh I mean, not to keep bragging, but we are very familiar with Bram Stoker here on the show.
oh okay,
We
cool.
One of our early interviews, we actually got to interview a wonderful lady named Shanna Stoker, who
Mm,
is Bram Stoker's great grandniece.
very cool.
She is absolutely wonderful, and we always talk about her, and that was such a fun interview to do. Um, but we've also gotten to interview one of the voice actors from Wing Gundam.
Oh, very nice.
We got to interview Mark Hildreth, who was the voice of Hero
Okay.
in the dubbed. So uh, I wish it was hanging in here, but it's actually hanging in the hallway. I have a beautiful Wing Gundam Endless Waltz painting
Nice.
that I got at a
Nice.
convention that he signed for me. So that's right in the veins for me.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, you'll love it. You'll love Nexus Ashram. I think it came out so cool. So I'm excited.
Very nice. No, looking forward to getting my hands on it. But with all of this, I gotta ask, because we talked a little bit about mental health. We talked about all these projects. How do you, as a writer, as a creator, try to get, or do you ever deal with? Because I know I deal with it currently right now. Do you ever deal with any kind of writer's block or even worse, imposter syndrome when it comes to some of these projects where it's like,
Right.
oh, I want this to be so good. And then there's this little voice in the back of your head scratching like, but is it really?
Right. Right. I think I struggled with writer's block really early on my first project, and it was actually this thing where I got intimidated. Like I started getting all the visions of where Protostar was going to go as I was writing. I thought it was something special, and I started getting this vision one day where everything just opened up to me. Well, you get try to get this stuff on kids' lunch boxes, posters, stickers, and they get make toys out of it. Like I was just kind of going on this whole branching story based on what I was writing, and I just got like intimidated. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. You know, I can't do anything like that. Who am I to try to do something like that? It was that kind of a thing. That imposter in my voice just came out of negativity, and I closed up the laptop. I was working. I was on a job, traveling, doing some training with some other therapists. I closed my laptop and went and laid in the bed and looked at TV. I was like, I'm not doing this, you know, and it was crazy because I was flipping through the channels and Joyce Myers was on one of the channels, and I was like, and she was talking about like self-doubt. And I listened for a moment and I just started hearing like, you can do this. And so I was like, all right, God, I hear you. I jumped back in the laptop and I never looked back. And I've never had a problem with projects since then. I always have to have an outline though. My outline is my skeleton, it's my spine. I hang everything off of it. So once I get my outline going, I just start going. Boom. Chapter one, give me a few sentences. What are we talking about? Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Just start going. Just start going. Just start going. I go as long as I need to, 2,500, 3,000 words, whatever. Close it up, press save, go hang with the family, come back again. What's the next chapter supposed to be about? Okay, let's do that. And it just flows. And I tell people my advice about writing, never write when you don't want to write.
Mm.
It's going to be trash. I don't care how much you say, oh, tonight's my writing night, I'm doing that. If you don't feel it, you're going to struggle. So the nights that I get in, sometimes I'm like just salivating. I got my drink or my coffee here. I'm ready to go. And I just start going. I look up, man, it's like 2 hours is gone. I'm just like flowing, and that's a beautiful, beautiful process to be in.
No, that's I highly respect that first off. But secondly, I've felt that before because I've tried to make myself write and then I've
Yeah.
had like these days where it's like, "Oh, I've got an idea. Where's my notepad?" And so like there are days where it's very much for me. And I make this joke every time I watch this episode. It's the SpongeBob essay episode
Hmm.
where it's just him going, yeah, yeah, this is great. And then he looks down at the page, it says the. And I'm just like, dang it. And I've done that with my writing. Like, cool, I'm gonna sit here, I'm really gonna pump out this story or this idea, and then I just
Hmm.
10 minutes later I look at the page and it's still blank. I was like, where'd all the writing go?
Right, right, right.
But then because I also run a D&D game off stream for my friends, and so like I used to take my notebook to work, and I'm just sitting on my desk and be like, okay, this will work, and I just start writing down. Next thing I know, the page is filled, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh, well, it worked.
right, right.
But you got to be in the right mindset for it. You got to be
Right.
really focused.
You do.
um and I very much the same way with this show, uh sitting here going, I don't want to edit an episode, and then I just kind of click the clips together and it's like, okay, it's done, and post it. And then there are ones where it's like, no, I really need to edit this, and I
Right.
and I sit down and I was like, okay, and then I'll do this and I'll do this, and then I really put the effort into, whether it be adding the artwork to whatever the show is that I'm
Hmm.
trying to support, or I really add the logos for whatever event we're attending. So it's like when I sit down and I want to edit and I want the show to be good, that's when I do the best work.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but what other? I mean, it seems we haven't already talked about it. What other works are you looking forward to dropping? What other things you guys
Hmm.
got cooking behind the scenes that you can talk about? I don't want to give any spoilers
Yeah, yeah,
away.
yeah.
No NDAs here. Like,
Right.
is there anything you can talk about that you're looking forward to that we
Right.
haven't discussed already?
As a small press company, we are still publishing Daniel Payton and his Legacy of Dragon Wand series. He's up to book seven, and book seven is coming out. We've decided it's going to drop in June. He's going to be doing one of his big conventions in the Midwest, and we're actually going to drop that release date. The link is up now on Amazon for anybody who wants to pick him up. Go back and catch up on all the Legacy of Dragon Wand. It's a fantastic series. That one is going to be coming out, book seven, in June 27th. Also, like I said, we have a superhero series, a world that we have built. It's called the Cosby Media Productions Dedicated Superhero Universe, CMPDSU. Six authors, 19 novels, eight comic books at this point. And so that world just continues to build and breathe on its own. I was fortunate with my Cape series. Bruno Abdias actually did the artwork on this. And if anybody's familiar with Bruno's work, he is a mastermind of comic bookdom. So he basically taught me. I mean, I wrote the story for the script of the Cape, and as he started returning some of the pages to me, like I started seeing a whole new world of how you do panels and all that. I started going, oh, he can do that, but I can do this, So in that way, he really kind of carried me through the comic book writing process. So I read a fantastic book called The Art of Comic Book Writing,
Hmm.
which really kind of got me off the bench and got me really playing with this. But Bruno, the way that he delivered on this comic book. Bruno does work now for DC and he does their Cyborg series. So
Oh, nice.
if anybody's interested in Bruno's work, you can basically pick it up right now in DC. He is just fabulous. And as you can see, his just the way that he draws these characters, I was like just blown away thinking that, hey, I designed these characters and this is what they look like when they really, really get somebody behind it who can do it. It was amazing. I did finally drop the sequel, issue two, of the Cape series, which is the Fabulous Five, which is kind of like the old guys are kind of retiring and they've handed down the mantle to the younger folks who are these young kids are just trying to put it together. They're going through a zillion problems, especially the main character, Icon, who was dead and has been resurrected in one of the novels, and now he's trying to say, I'm a superhero when I used to be a villain. So it's a nice little twist. Marcelo Salazar did the artwork in this one, and he is fabulous as well. And he gave me some amazing pages. I was really, really excited with some of the stuff that he did with his characters and with my characters in here as well. So anybody who just wants to pick up the cape and keep that series going, that's available. We also did drop the compendium, which is the graphic novel that actually encapsulates all of our superhero stories. You see all the authors' names at the bottom. We've got Keyshawn Dodds, Lawrence St. John's, me, um, Kyle Champion, and Daniel Payton. Also, we've got the Bark series, Metatron, the Majesties of Canaan, the Cape, and I think I got everybody. And oh, and Menzuo from Keyshawn Dodds, all in this 175 page graphic novel, which basically was going to give you five comic books, all the first issue comics, as well as we've serialized all of the novels into one pagers. So if you didn't read the Cape, you can actually pick this up. This will give you the summary on this page and give you panels of all the big events from that novel all in one place. So we've done that with every book that we had in the beginning of those series. Before we got to Infinity Seven, War of Gods. So if somebody said, "Man, it's so much, I just want to catch up," oh, you get it all right here. So yeah. So those are the types of things that we're doing. Just wanted to give all of our readers an opportunity to come in, and like I said, come play in our worlds that we've created. Opportunities for you to just get in, read something that I think you're going to find very exciting and cool. And then after that, you can just branch out and just pick up some of the other stuff. If you find your new favorite author, pick up their other stuff as well.
That's amazing. Just also a really good idea because I've definitely gone through a couple comics, been like, okay, where do I start with this?
Exactly.
And then you gotta find book one, and then you gotta make sure it's from the same
Yep.
run or it's from the
Right.
same author. And so looking at you, Boom Studios, and going, all right, which one of these comes first?
Right. Right.
Because I'm reading through the Shattered Grid storyline right now, and
Hmm.
I'm just about finished. Thank goodness.
Right.
Um, but those are some excellent. I got to pick up that compendium actually because I'm like I said, I loves me some superheroes. I was looking for new ideas, looking for
Yes.
new books to read. So,
It is the
um,
best value of everything we have, man. I mean, to pick that up, I mean, you get everything. And after you've read the compendium, you're ready to jump into Infinity Seven, War of Gods, which is the next kind of that's our matchup. Like that's our matchup. Like when we started really crossing over all our characters into a superhero team, it's called Infinity Seven. So Infinity Seven is like our Avengers Assemble kind of thing. So we end up having two books of that. This closes out that story arc and it leads you right into War of Gods, which will close out all of the Dark Spore series, and then um, Fabulous Five actually marks the next story arc again that starts to pick back up. So yeah, so it was been a labor of love. Shout out to Rom again, who actually did those serialized pages for me. Me and him worked together on scripting it out and making sure that all those comic books, all those novels were summarized and that the pages were fluid and the summaries that the authors gave me, we wrote them into comic scripting and Rom did a great job picking it up.
That's awesome. So I gotta ask, and I know it's always hard because it's like picking a favorite kid, but which of your series are you either A, the
uh,
most proud of, or B, you're
yes.
just the most excited for to really share with the world?
Man, it's so tough because I've got these series. I would say right now, I've really fallen in love with Broken. My goal in all the writings that I do is to write my next favorite novel. I want my next favorite novel. This is my next favorite novel, and because it's my latest, I would say I was successful in doing that. I do have a new series I'm working on now that is based in historical fiction. So this is a new genre that I'm writing. which is going to be a beast of a work because I've done so much research on it, and I'm just starting to get everything cracking. I got the outline done. I'm just starting to crack into it, and it's going to be a duology with a historical fiction novel and a graphic novel released, and the storyline is just through the roof. So that'll easily probably be my next favorite
Nice.
again.
Well, without too much spoilers, because I don't want too much here. What kind of era are we looking at for this historical fiction?
We are in the old Japan era.
Oh yes. Oh
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. I
Hmm.
literally just a week
Yes.
ago finished playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and I don't know if you could see it's real tiny up there, but I do
Okay.
have the Bushido code
Yes.
about right there somewhere on the bookshelf. So
Listen, you
yeah, feudal
you will
Japan and
eat
we're here
this
for it.
if you like Shogun, the TV
Mm-hmm.
show, you will eat this alive when it comes out.
All right. Well, you better keep me posted because
Oh
I
yeah.
want to see it. So as we wind down here, as we wrap up soon, where can everyone find all this work, these excellent
Absolutely.
stories, comics, mangas, graphic novel? I mean, this is a universe all its own. Where can
Yes.
everyone find these wonderful products?
Yep, all they got to do is go to www.cosbymediaproductions.com. There, you'll see links to our social media. But we made the website very easy to navigate. If you scroll right down the center, it's going to give you all the genres. Anything you're interested in, young adult, poetry, just click on it. We give you the selections. You'll be able to click on those and be able to read the synopsis of those things. It'll give you links to the authors who actually wrote them. You can connect with them. If you can connect with an author, you can probably connect with their works. We do have our storefront for Star Child Comics on that page as well. I mean, on the website as well, and that will give you options to purchase certain comics that are in stock as well as the novels that are associated with them. We ship them out directly from us to you, and I sign everything that goes out as well. If you want a signature, just let us know. And we also have links to the Amazon pages and the Barnes and Nobles as well for all of our works because we want to keep things moving through brick and mortar as much as we can as well. So you'll be able to get, if you have a Kindle, you'll be able to get the ebooks. If you have a Nook, you'll be able to get them on that format as well. And we just want everybody, we don't want to invite you guys to come on over. I promise you there's something there that you're going to be excited to read about and sink your teeth into.
Well, hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, please, everyone watching, everyone listening, please go check out these wonderful creations. I know myself, I'm gonna go look up Broken as soon as I'm done here. I'm gonna look up the superhero universe and start sinking my teeth into that.
Very cool.
I mean, we said it before the show. I've got a 12-hour road trip ahead of me one
Oh,
way. So I've got plenty of time to sit and read a couple of these stories.
yeah, and we got them on audiobooks too. So if you're
Oh,
driving, nothing
even
like putting an
better,
audiobook in and just go.
even better. Uh, but before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to say to those listening? Anything you'd like, any last messages you like to put out there? Where can everyone find you on the socials and all
Yep.
that good jazz?
Absolutely. Cosby Media Productions on IG, Braxton A. Cosby on IG, Starchild_comics on IG. Uh, Check us out on our website as well. When you go, I'm going to update all of our conventions that we'll be at because we might be in a city near you. We're going to be going through Charleston. You're going to go, obviously, we're here in Atlanta. We're going to North Carolina next month for Heroes Con. So, we might pop up in a place that you're close to. You want to come out and meet us and get stuff, signed copies. We'll be right there. So just jump on all over that. And like I said, just play around that website. You're definitely going to find something and give our authors some love because they're some very, very talented folks. And we're so proud to have them as a part of us.
Well, thank you. And let me adjust this view really fast. There we go. But thank you, Braxton, for joining me today.
Well, my pleasure,
This
man. Thanks a lot.
it's been an absolute honor and pleasure to have you on the show. Talk about this wonderful, just creative web that you have weaved, and I'm excited to dive into it myself. But thank you for
Thank you.
joining me so much today. It's been a blast.
Awesome. No, thanks. It's been a wonderful opportunity to chat with you today, Jay, and hopefully we be able to reach some of your fans as well.
Oh, absolutely. But everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Uh, as always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, so you never miss uploads. I'm gonna try because we are in fact going to DreamHack this weekend. I'm gonna try to get this episode turned around and out as fast as possible so that everyone can see it. But we'll be at DreamHack in Dallas this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then next month, once again, June 13th through the 15th, we'll be in Atlanta. We'll be in your hometown, Doc, um, for Ranger Stop and Pop. This is one of our biggest conventions we've ever
Very cool.
gotten into. Over 50 Power Ranger actors from heroes, villains, sidekicks.
Awesome.
At least one Ranger per season is gonna
That's
be
gonna be
there.
cool.
And so I'm so excited. We're so excited to be there. But go check them out. Go check out Cosby and his media empire that he has built. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for stopping Curbside.